Alright, so for this video I thought I'd do something a little bit different. I thought that I could load test the M1 Max. I have no idea what's going to happen, but essentially I'm going to go into my copy of Pro Tools, and essentially what I'm going to do is I'm going to open lots of high CPU and GPU intensive plugins and just see how long it takes before I start to think that you can't really work with what you're using. So let's start by opening up Pro Tools. Just letting it load. Already, as you can see, that loaded pretty quickly. So I've got my copy of Pro Tools open here, and the first thing we're going to do is just the pretty basic stuff. Let's just say that this would be like an 8-track mix. Maybe you're like a bedroom sort of musician, so for me it might be just say distorted guitar. Put this one on the left. Okay, so I've just gone ahead and I haven't put in any VSTs yet. I've just added 8 tracks. This is a pretty standard sort of setup. So I've got vocals with 2 instances of backing vocals, left guitar, right guitar, lead guitar, bass, and then drums. And they're all panned how you would expect them to be. I haven't done volumes or anything because we're not worried about mixing. We're just worried about load testing. It should also be noted that I've also got an instance of Google Chrome, my loopback like audio routing software. I've also got Discord open in the background, once again Pro Tools, and OBS is the thing that I'm using to record. So there's already some pretty heavy intensive stuff, and as you can see, just trying to move around, it's holding up pretty well. I'm also recording at 30 frames a second, but it's definitely running a lot faster than 50 frames a second. So what we're going to do now is we're just going to try and add some plugins. I've already got some effects chains that I tend to use. I'm just going to add them in and just see how it performs once I've loaded everything in. So as you could see, with that one, this one loaded, still got that beach ball, but it's loaded just a little bit quicker, the THU, because I already loaded it into this one. But it's not anything that's gonna hurt workflow. It's not like it's taking any more than at the very most 10 seconds to open. Obviously, with this one that I'm opening now, it's a slightly more intensive app. I've got THU, which is already sort of CPU intensive, and I've also got Amplitude 5, which is a lot more CPU and GPU intensive, but still, once again, it's a little bit slow, but it's not necessarily going to hurt your workflow in any meaningful way. And then I've just got my MT Power drum kit. As you can tell a little bit with the EQ, and I've got all that. It's starting to get a little bit slower. If I didn't have, I probably wouldn't have Google Chrome in the background and OBS when I'm just trying to use Pro Tools. But besides that, that's all of the main ones. I haven't done the vocals ones yet because I have no idea what I'm doing when it comes to vocals. But anyway, so there's those ones. Now, that's just a standard 8, and it's still performing relatively well. Certainly, on my old Acer laptop, it would not be able to handle just how much is going on at the moment. Now, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add an instance of would be melody of piano. And I'm also going to add an instance of strings, or a few instances of strings, because if you have a string section, you might want to have multiple, and you might want to mix them separately. So you definitely want to have, like, you know, maybe you want your double bass, then your cello, then your violins, and then maybe like keys or like a piano as well. So I've got all of the instances of the maybe strings and the piano that I would have set up. And once again, maybe it's starting to get a little bit worse when it comes to, say, loading stuff up. But aside from loading anything, it's not performing bad. Obviously, you can see it's starting to move around everywhere. But that's not really that fun. I want to really test. I don't want to break my MacBook, but I really want to test to see how good the most budget MacBook Air that I have is. So with all of these open, I am just going to add a new track. I'm just going to call it like funny, because what I'm going to do is I'm just going to load in tons and tons of VSTs. I'm just going to do multiples of 5 and see how I go from there. Got a little bit of a beach ball of death going here. I'm purposefully doing it. You wouldn't normally try and quit a program while it's still trying to load up, but I did do that on purpose. However, while that one's still loading up, I am going to add another native instrument, because native instruments is well known having very graphically intensive and highly CPU intensive. So I'm just going to load all of the ones that I have here at the moment, all of the free ones. So as you can see, I've just got multiple instances of just a bunch of different plugins, and despite how intensive they are, it's holding up pretty well. Probably the biggest one was loading up Guitar Rig 6. When it first boots up, it's got to load all of your rack presets, which I don't have any. But now's the fun part, because it's lagging just a tiny bit, but even then it is holding up really strong. Now's the fun part, because I have all of these plugins from Melda Audio, and I'm just going to open them up one by one. Better yet, I'm going to open them all at once. Oh, okay. I'll have to check the timer on that in post. But that actually. Oh, oh my god! Oh my god! Look at that scroll speed. Oh, I'm actually impressed. Oh, I'm very impressed by that. Look, it's. Mind you, it's. You'd never do that in your right mind. No one ever uses this many plugins. And all I'm trying to do is just move this. I'm actually surprised that it loaded at all. I thought it was just going to crash straight out of Pro Tools. As people seem to think that it's been known for. See, it's just moved. Now let's try and move it there. And there, boom. A little bit slower, but you just gotta let it catch up. Touching my Mac, it is not overheating. I am actually impressed. I was worried that I was gonna have to see if there's any warranty, but no. It just it has literally impressed me. You just got to let it catch up, but there you go. All of these plugins, I haven't changed anything. I haven't loaded anything in, but they're all just open. And tell you what, there would be very few things that could have this open and scroll this fast. I'm actually so happy. I was worried that I am lost for words. Now, obviously, in a recording situation, I would be recording. However, I just wanted to load test specifically. I didn't want to test how it runs, how it performs. I just wanted to load test. Mainly because someone in a Discord server said to me that they wouldn't want to get anything with 8 gig of RAM because they use a lot of Native Instruments plugins. So I want them to see this and show them that maybe you don't need 16 gig of RAM, because what you need is the new MacBook M1 chip. So anyway, that's gonna do it for this video. I've got to go ahead and clean this up, make sure that nothing's broken, and yeah, I'll see you all next time. Peace out.